Join Unsure But Interested podcast for Matinee Morsels
Yum 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 yum.
with Kurt and Marie.
Yeah.
We're going to talk
Yes.
about Abigail because I
We
did it,
both saw
Kurt.
it in a
I
theater.
know we both, I never go to the movies.
But she did,
I
everyone.
did it.
She went to a theater.
I did it. I did it and I was excited about it. And I'm excited to talk about it. So,
Yeah.
what were your thoughts off of the top?
Abigail. Rated R. Um, no, I was a big fan. I know some critics didn't like it, and
Interesting.
I don't know why. I really like Radio Silence, the company or like the group that made Ready or Not, and in this one. So I loved Ready or Not, and I loved this one. I like when they are doing their own thing, which is kind of fun. Besides the Scream movies they did, that weren't my favorite, but that's for another pod. But I really enjoyed Abigail. I like that they, mild spoiler alert, that just like in Ready or Not, they're not afraid to blow up people. I love their level of gore is very fun and silly. And I like that it's just silly and fun. Like it's not taking itself too seriously, and I like that.
That it had real from Dusk Till Dawn vibes and I loved
Yes.
it. Like and
Yeah.
I've missed I think that's what we do in the shadows and so many wonderful vampire shows do is
Yeah.
it is so ripe for comedy and but you
Yeah.
could still have a gory scary
Right.
movie at times, but yeah,
Right.
you can have some
Yeah.
really funny moments.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think they really had fun with it. And you could
Yeah.
tell. And I think
Yes.
all the actors were having fun with it. I know I had mentioned to you, like, I love that Dan Stevens based his character on I think you should leave sketch. I think that's brilliant. Like, that's a great way to go into a horror film. Be like, you know what? I really like this one sketch on the Tim Robbins show. Let's make a whole character on that. But it really worked for the character. Like, I think it made the character fun.
I
Because in
really yeah.
other
Yeah,
mild
I
spoiler, I got to see Cuckoo, his other movie, and he does a really
oh,
weird German accent in that. The
oh.
movie's not as good as Abigail, but I was like, man, Dan Stevens is having a time of his life right now in these movies.
I think that's and it shows like even though the characters they don't spend a lot of time in the backstory, just enough to get us invested. I really did feel like the actors really felt like they really created
Knew who they
characters that
were.
work. Yeah, they knew who they were,
Yeah,
even if the audience didn't know. Like they were
yeah,
definitely those characters.
agreed.
And I loved it. It was so much fun. Like I was watching it with some friends who are extreme horror fans, and one's a horror writer,
Yeah,
and they were both like, "That was so much fun." Like it was nice to see a fun movie again. It's
right.
been a
Yeah,
while.
yeah. And also, I know it is no longer in it, but I went with a friend to go see it in 4DX.
Ooh.
Which, if you've not had the experience, it's when the seats move to the movie and they have different like 4D instead of 3D effects. So it has like a water squirter and different things when you're seeing a movie. So we jokingly were like, "Oh, we have to go see this in 4DX because it's going to be weird as all can be." And it was. So like anytime the blood would splatter, like it would shoot water out at you, which made it even more fun. So like it made it
Right.
just for a really weird time at the movie.
I love it. No, that's wonderful.
Yeah, it was pretty
I just
great.
think it's so good. I can't recommend it enough. And if you like good character acting, like they were all they were doing really good characters. The characters
Yeah,
seem to be authentically reacting to the situations, even though they're obviously
right.
insane moments. But I felt like,
Yeah,
every dialogue, even when they were funny, did seem like it worked. And when there was the big surprises in the film, they also seemed to work, even though there were some
yeah.
twists in it. Um,
Excuse
which
me.
I
Yeah, I
liked.
agree. Yeah,
I loved it. And I don't want to
yeah, I had
spoil
fun with
it,
that.
but look for
Ooh,
that
don't.
last kind of line because the last line, how they turn it, the last line of the
Yeah,
movie really, really impressed me. And I was really impressed with the last line. And then they kind of flip it on you. The
yeah,
wisdom of the film, then they flip it, which I absolutely love.
yeah. Like they do that because they did that in Ready or Not as well, which I really liked. They almost have very similar endings. No spoilers, unless you've seen Ready or Not. But but yeah, but I liked both of the endings because I was like, okay, good. You're in on, like, I feel like they're in on the joke, and I like it, and it makes me
Yeah.
happy.
Yeah.
Um, and it's for a good ride. And I really like Alicia Weir, the child actor that played Abigail,
I know.
because she was
She's
in
great.
The Matilda musical. And I was like, she's got range, and she's like, I don't know. So I was like, she's feisty and fun, and she's like holding it up with all these other, more seasoned actors. So
Every once in a while with child actors, I'm always worried. Like, especially like when you're
yeah,
watching like Stranger Things, you're like, what is the show doing to this child?
right.
But for some reason, she took that fear out. Like, I was just like, oh, she'll be
You're like,
fine.
oh,
She's
she's good with
she's
it.
she's gonna be fine.
She's
This isn't
she's
gonna traumatize her.
Irish. She knows what she's doing.
And the dancing, and I love the kind
Yeah.
of the Swan Lake, that kind of like connection back to old Universal kind of horror films,
Yes. Yeah,
and
that was really funny.
her
And I
dancing
also,
was
yeah,
amazing. Like
we
everything
were
about
also
her.
we were also really laughing because, mild spoiler alert again, pretty much she only dances exclusively to Swan Lake. And we thought it was really funny that like she's, again, it's in the trailer, like she's a vampire and she's like lived for many, many years. And so we were laughing after the movie. We are like, oh my God, she's only listened to Swan Lake still. like it's her one thing on repeat. I just think it's really funny. And she's like, no, I'm not branching out. I'm gonna just keep doing this, Swan Lake till I
It is
perish.
fun. That is one of the kind of the holes to poke. What they had the rights to Swan Lake,
Right.
and they're
Yeah,
gonna use
yeah.
it. God
And
damn
they're
it!
gonna use it, my God. But I liked that lean in because I was like, yeah, sure, of course. Like, yeah, just
Yeah.
keep doing the same song over and over again for thousands of years.
It does
I get
give
it.
a
It's a
theme
comfort for
song.
her.
Yeah,
Yeah.
does give kind of a theme song to the character, which I
It
find very funny.
does.
And the fight scenes were very interesting. And so if you're somebody who likes fight scenes, you would
Yeah, the
think,
choreography.
yeah, the choreography, and they really they really played with the concept of trying to fight something so much smaller than you, that
Right.
like a Yoda-esque kind of fight, like
And
type of
also
thing.
someone who like really doesn't give a shit.
The vampire character is saying that they've had practice being a
Yeah.
child for so many centuries, but even the
Right.
characters themselves having to pretend to be these different versions of themselves, like, which is
Yeah.
also very interesting,
Yeah,
and
the
trying to
Rat
hide
Pack
their true
versions of them.
nature.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Like,
very interesting. And again,
I had fun with it.
if you like From Dusk Till Dawn, where you're rooting for all the bad guys, and even though they
Yeah.
are terrible people, and you're like,
Right.
oh, George Clooney isn't gonna make it, or is he? But you're like, no, George Clooney's a terrible
You're like,
person.
he's a terrible person in
He's
this,
a
but I
terrible
love
person.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I really like that part, and it's been a while since I think we've felt so much for such bad people. Like
Yeah.
even the muscle character, who's obviously going
Yes.
to hurt the child
Right.
when he knows she's a
Right.
child. Like there's some real feels towards that character, and I'm like, what?
You're like,
What? No, he's
you're
a
like, what?
terrible human
Right.
being. But I'm like, no.
Right. All of these people are awful.
I know. So I love that.
Yeah.
That was what From Dusk Till Dawn really achieved, I feel, is that, even though these
Yeah.
are
Just,
really terrible people, you really wanted to see them make it.
yeah. Yeah. I like when that happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a rare occurrence. I like that it got you out to the theater
All
too.
right. Well, we are unsure but interested. Please find us on Spotify. We have Instagram. We have merch.
Yes.
We love to talk about movies. And yeah.
And television sometimes.
Right. I mean, I think for me, because I don't leave the house, it's more television.
Marie goes both ways.
Yes, yes, I do. So yes. So we hope to see you on our pod,
Yes.
and enjoy Abigail. Or let us know if
Enjoy
you
the.
didn't. And thanks so much for listening, and see you
Yeah.
next time.
Bye,
Bye.
everyone.